More than 100 years ago, the Reverend Dennis Pivoto, a minister at a downtown Houston church, had a vision. It was a dream that altered the course of his life and the lives of hundreds of thousands of Houstonians from that point in time to this very day. In the middle of the night, while sailing to the East Coast, God called him to open a refuge for Houston's lost community of drifters and alcoholics. These were men who had fallen on hard times and had lost all hope. And God told him this place of refuge was to be called the Star of Hope Mission. For more than a century, through 2 world wars, the Great Depression, and many other life-altering events, the Star of Hope has shone brightly in Houston. In the late 1980s, our city and our state were rocked by a collapse in oil prices, and Houston fell on very hard times. The divorce rate had been growing for several decades, leaving thousands of women and children economically vulnerable. Our city began seeing hundreds of homeless women, along with their children, coming to the Star of Hope Men's Center looking for a place to stay. They had lost their jobs and had become homeless. So Star of Hope began its journey in serving homeless women and families. I joined the Star of Hope Board of Trustees in 2003 and was a part of the mission's 100th anniversary in 2007. It was a very exciting time. But the very next year, in 2008, our nation experienced another massive economic calamity. It was the second financial market collapse to hit our country, and would become known as the Great Recession. In the midst of all of this, on September 13, 2008, Hurricane Ike hit the Bayou City and Texas Gulf Coast. This massive hurricane caused more damage and destruction than our region had experienced since 1950, and changed the homeless picture yet again in a very dramatic way. Star of Hope joined other organizations, along with city and state agencies, to provide a safe haven for the thousands of individuals and families whose homes were damaged, and the thousands who were losing their jobs due to a massive layoff in our community. In the spring of 2009, I became Star of Hope's board chairman. With our new president, Hank Rush, and a very strong board, we realized it was time for a new expanded vision for the Star of Hope. That spring, we began a strategic process that included researching how we could better serve the growing but ever-changing homeless population who were coming for help at the Star of Hope. We wanted to understand how we could maximize our impact on the homeless and nearly homeless in the greater Houston area by building upon the highly effective programs and services the Star of Hope currently provides, but by also being effective stewards of the resources God had blessed us with. We met with church leaders, community partners, business leaders, and long-term Star of Hope board members and supporters. We interviewed the new homeless families who were coming to us for help, seeking God's vision for the Star of Hope for its second century.
The new vision which evolved, which we called Vision 2015, began a broadened scope of Christ-centered services both within our 3 campus facilities and around our city in extended satellite locations. I became Star of Hope's board chairman in 2012, in the midst of continued overwhelming demands on us to serve homeless women and families in our community. Since the beginning of Vision 2015, the number of homeless people served by Star of Hope per day has grown by 50%, with 2/3 of these being homeless women and families. This trend in women and family homelessness continues to this day. At a time when Houston is experiencing its broadest economic growth in its history, there are more people living in poverty without adequate skills to feed their families than ever before. And thousands more are coming to us each year for help. Many of these families do not meet the stringent HUD definition of homelessness, so government resources are very limited for them. And though Houston's network of homeless services and our city are making great progress in providing housing and supportive services for the most chronic homeless, affordable housing and needed services for homeless families are severely lacking. Through our research into the efforts of other major cities and study of research work by the Gates Foundation, the Brookings Institute, and the Kinder Center for Urban Research at Rice University. We have come to realize that the greatest way to help homeless families achieve permanent independence is to combine emergency recovery services, longer-term programs, mental, physical, and spiritual health services with permanent supportive housing in close proximity and with greater mobility options, all in a campus environment. Vision 2015 has led to Vision 2020, which includes expanded services by Star of Hope and greater partnering with other agencies and the city to achieve permanent success for more of these families. As we continue with Star of Hope's Vision 2020, our goal is to end homelessness, one life, one family at a time, helping them to find a new faith and life in Jesus Christ, and to achieve true independent living for themselves and their families.